Hello everybody, I'm here today to play some more TF2. Yes, I am back, and I am playing as the soldier. Today, as per usual, I am not going to be talking about TF2, but briefly I will bring up the fact that I haven't uploaded in a week. Honestly, I'm sorry, I was late, stuff went wrong, I'm planning on working a second channel, but that's not really working out yet. Mostly Let's Plays if you're wondering, but it might even happen yet, but anyway, that's it. Enough about that. On to the subject I wanted to bring up on this episode. Considering I like being fairly cynical in my videos, if you haven't noticed, because every single video is complaining about something, I'm going to be talking about something that pisses off a lot of people in missions, and usually when it comes up, it pisses people off to the point of sometimes turning off the game and stop playing completely. If you're wondering, I'm talking, of course, about escort missions. Escort missions are pretty much exactly what they say in the tin. You escort someone around and try and get them to a safe distance. It's a pretty simple premise, and it's a fairly used gameplay mechanic. But it is not without its massive backlash and its massive hatred because of how annoying those levels can be. And yes, those levels can be very, very, very annoying. I understand that. But my personal opinion on these escort missions is the fact that they are not the core problem. Escort missions are not the reason why it's so bad and it's so difficult to help these people around. There's a multitude of other reasons why this is so bad. Escort missions are just kind of a deliverer of the evil more than the reason for it. The main thing that pisses a lot of people off in escort missions is the fact that some people just plain and simply can't follow you. And that isn't escort missions, that's just the design of the game, that's the AI. And you can't blame the game designer if you're getting the AI wrong, because AI is difficult to program. It is. It takes a long time, it takes a lot of work. It's difficult to program what a person would do in a certain situation. And I presume it takes a very long time if it's something so advanced as to try and keep up with you. Because, you know, it's simple to have someone just keep up with you and walk behind you, but of course that's going to get them killed and to get you fail the mission. Which is why it's so hated, because honestly, that's the way most escort missions are. They straight up follow you and they'll hit off walls and they'll do everything similar to you and it'll get them killed because they can't avoid what you can avoid. They don't have the guns that you have, or the weapons that you have, or the magic that you have, or any sort of type of game like that. They don't really have the abilities you have, and even if they did, they won't use them. But of course, there are two sides to every story, and there is a side that got escort missions right. The example I'm talking about, of course, is BioShock Infinite. If you didn't know, which you probably do because that game was freaking massive when it came out, BioShock Infinite is a first-person shooter game that involves you walking around for the entire game with a chick named Elizabeth. And pretty much she has no weapons, she has no way of defending herself, it's pretty much revolved around whether or not to protect her. Now, this is how you do escort missions right. There's a few things that annoy me about BioShock Infinite and I think is done badly, but escort, the way they handle Elizabeth is by far the best way they could have handled Elizabeth. It's very simple. Elizabeth cannot die. The reason people hate escort missions so much is because they're a liability to what you're trying to do in the game. Because you want to get through the levels and you want to get past each mission or you want to do whatever, and you can't get past it if the person keeps dying and you keep getting the fail-safe mission. So, in light of that, people can consider the AIs you're guarding to be a liability. Which is why it's so perfect that Elizabeth cannot die no matter what you do. Now, not only did they make her not a liability, which was a huge problem for AI, but they also made her helpful. She gives you ammo, she gives you salts, she gives you vigor, she gives you all kinds of stuff, and it just makes it easier for you, because if you're out of bullets, she'll throw you more ammo and you can keep going. Honestly, some people don't even consider that to be an escort mission because she doesn't really take up any sort of space. Like if she's unkillable, then there's no real escort mission involved. Well, in fairness, there are other games that have done it so horribly. Resident Evil 4. Okay, now, in fairness to Resident Evil 4, they did have the decency to make Ashley peck off for a few hours. And that's probably why I like Resident Evil 4 so much, because at least they didn't force you to it for the entire game. If they did that, that would piss me off a lot more. She gets kidnapped a fair few times, you have to go get her, that's fine, because she's not getting killed around you. You're just saving her. She can go be an annoying little asshole somewhere else. In my opinion, Resident Evil 4 is kind of a middle ground, because there are parts that are still very, very good with our escort missions, but there are games that are like the worst of the evil. They make the entire game an escort mission, and then they just make the game a worse experience for it. A few examples. For some reason, the zombie games, like including escort missions, like I know they're never really associated with it, but what I'm thinking of is Dead Rising and Dead Island. The two of them, in all fairness, you're trying to help people, but what it ends up to be is just you're trying to stop them from getting eaten. Well, like, from losing health and being surrounded by zombies, and you have to go back, and you have to help them, and you have to go back and you have to help them because, you know, just dumb reasons. The final one, which I heard to be by far the worst, is a game called Amy. I have never played the game, ever. I haven't touched the game. I heard a load of reviewers like calling the game one of the worst games I've ever played, but it isn't because it's well, it is because it's terrible, but apart from that, it's because the entire game you spend minding a child, and the child's AI is horribly written. It's supposed to be really, really bad, and it's just the amount of random fail states you get because Amy just doesn't follow you properly is just ridiculous. Now, you can't take my opinion of this game because I never played it, but I've gotten a lot of good opinions that have said this game is horrible for escort missions, and it shows how terrible escort missions can be. So, to conclude, all I really want to say is, escort missions, they're not so bad. They really aren't. People overestimate how terrible escort missions are all the time. It isn't the escort mission itself, but it's how the escort mission is built in. Some people don't even notice it's an escort mission until afterwards, because it's so well written, which is like Bioshock Infinite. Because I didn't realize it was an escort mission until about a month after I played the game. I was like, holy crap, that was totally an escort mission. So, in the end, it doesn't matter about if it's an escort mission or not, it matters how well the escort mission is written. So to answer the final question, it depends. I can't say yes, I can't say no, because it depends on how good the programmers are at writing the AI for them. And it depends on how good a situation they put them in, depends on a lot of factors. There's so many factors you have to bring into this. It's ridiculous. Anyway, that's it. If you like what you saw, I'll see you next time. If you didn't like what you saw, then I won't see you next time. Feel free to like and subscribe. Bye.